Ever get that feeling like you're just starting to wrap your head around something new, and then suddenly everything changes, like the ground shifts beneath you?
Totally. I mean, it's incredible, right? The speed at which things are moving in AI.
It's wild, right?
Yeah.
And today, we are diving deep into one of those seismic shifts.
Buckle up.
Yeah, Google's just dropped their most advanced AI model yet, Gemini 2.5 Pro.
Yeah.
Now, if you're listening and thinking, whoa, AI, that's a whole lot of jargon, don't sweat it.
We gotcha.
That's why we're here. We've been sifting through the reports, the early analysis, all the buzz, trying to break it down into plain English.
Yeah, kind of like your AI cheat sheet.
Exactly. Well, we want to help you understand what Gemini 2.5 Pro is, what it can actually do, and why it matters, even if you're just starting to explore the world of AI.
It's all about those key insights, those aha moments.
Right. So we're looking at the first wave of information, the benchmarks, the early experiments, and trying to figure out what makes this model tick and why everyone's so excited about it.
Let's jump in.
Okay, so right out of the gate, Gemini 2.5 Pro has been making waves. The AI community definitely took notice.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
And one of the clearest signs of its impact is how it's performing on that Arena Leaderboard.
Right. And what's really striking, and this is something to pay attention to, is how decisively it's taken the top spot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not just a little bit ahead. It's a significant lead. And for those who are new to this, the LM Arena is like the popularity contest for AI models. You know, real people interact with them and rate how good their responses are.
So it's not just about some internal tech specs. It's about what actual users think.
Exactly. It's about whether it actually delivers something valuable, something that feels genuinely better than the alternatives.
And from what we're seeing, Gemini 2.5 Pro is passing that test with flying colors.
Yeah.
But it's not just about these subjective human evaluations, right? There are more objective tests as well.
Right. You got it. It's not just winning in one area. It's dominating across a whole spectrum of major benchmarks. We're talking about outperforming models from some of the biggest names out there. You know, Grok, OpenAI, Anthropic, even DeepSeek.
Wow. So for someone just getting into this, it's like a rookie coming in and just blowing everyone out of the water.
That's a good analogy.
And when you look at the specifics, it's excelling in some pretty demanding areas. Let's talk about competitive math, for example. It's leading in benchmarks like GPQA, Diamond, and AME 2025. Now, for those of us who aren't, tackling advanced calculus every day, what makes those benchmarks so significant?
So think of these as the AI equivalent of the Math Olympics. Incredibly tough problem sets designed to really push the limits of logical reasoning and abstract thought.
So it's not just about crunching numbers. It's about genuine understanding.
Exactly. And to excel here, it suggests that the AI is capable of a level of abstract thought that goes way beyond just math problems. It could have implications for all sorts of fields.
That's fascinating. And it's not just in the abstract realm either, right? We're seeing it show some serious muscle in practical areas like coding.
Oh, absolutely. The reported score on the SW bench, which has been verified, is 63.8%. That's a seriously strong indicator of its coding abilities.
So this benchmark, it tests how well an AI can generate and understand computer code.
Right. Exactly. So think about it this way. We might be looking at an AI that can actually help developers write code more efficiently, automate some of those tedious coding tasks, even understand complex software projects better.
I mean, imagine an AI that can not only read code, but write it effectively. That could really speed things up for everyone working with software.
It's a game changer.
And then we're hearing about these agentic capabilities. Now, that might sound like something out of a sci-fi movie, but what does it actually mean for us non-experts?
Okay, so agentic capabilities. Think of it as the AI being more proactive. Instead of just answering a single question, it can plan out a series of steps, make decisions along the way, even take actions to solve a more complex task all on its own.
So it's not just spitting out information, it's thinking things through.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that Gemini 2.5 Pro is outperforming many other models in this area means it's better at handling those really involved multi-stage problems independently. It's like having an assistant that not only understands what you want, but figures out the best way to get it done.
Okay, so we've got this model performing at the top of its game. But what's under the hood? What's driving all of this? We keep hearing about this massive context window.
Okay, so this is one of those things that makes Gemini 2.5 Pro really stand out. And it's a crucial concept to understand this 1 million token context window. It's huge. To put it simply, it means the model can effectively see and process a vast amount of information all at once.
So it's like having a photographic memory, but for data.
Kind of, yeah. Imagine feeding an AI an entire book, a massive research paper, a whole project's history, and it can understand the connections, the overall context within all that information.
Can grasp the big picture.
Exactly. And you think about the possibilities. For researchers, this could mean analyzing huge data sets way more efficiently, spotting patterns and connections that might be missed otherwise.
It's about enabling the AI to deal with really intricate and interconnected information.
Right on.
Okay. So it's not just the amount of data. It's the complexity and the relationships within that data that it can now handle. What else is contributing to its capabilities? I saw something about its training data.
Yeah, so the model was trained on a data set that X was specifically designed to push its reasoning abilities to the limit.
So it wasn't just fed a fire hose of random information.
No. It was much more targeted. It was trained on carefully selected, challenging scenarios that forced it to develop stronger, more sophisticated reasoning skills.
It's like an athlete training with a very specific and demanding regimen.
Exactly. It's not just about quantity, it's about the quality and the strategy behind the training data that makes it smarter.
And there was also something about multimodal understanding, real-time streaming, and native tool use. Can you break those down for us quickly?
Okay, so multimodal understanding, that basically means it can process and integrate information from different types of data, text, images, audio, video, so it gets a more complete picture of the world.
It's not limited to just text.
Right. And real-time streaming, that suggests it can process and output information continuously, which is super important for things like interactive applications and real-time analysis. And then you have native tool use, meaning it can intelligently utilize external tools and APIs to get things done.
So it can use tools like we do.
Essentially, yeah. These features all work together to make it a much more versatile and powerful AI for tackling real-world challenges.
Okay, so we have a model that's performing amazingly well. Has this huge memory, is trained on high-quality data, and can understand different types of information and even use tools. Sounds pretty impressive on paper, but what can it actually do in the real world? What are some concrete examples? The one with the HTML generation really caught my attention.
Yeah. That was a cool one. It really highlights its coding skills and its creative potential. They gave the model a prompt to create something visually impressive using just a single HTML file. And what's really fascinating is not just the end result, but the process it went through. It brainstormed different visual effects, considered how to achieve them with code, even selected the specific coding languages and techniques it would need, things like CSS and JavaScript.
It's like it had its own internal design and development team going on.
It's wild, right? You want to know what it created?
Of course. What did it come up with?
It generated the code for a neon glow effect applied to a 3D image, and it did all of that within a single HTML file. And some early reports said it was a little slow to render in that specific test, but the level of visual complexity it achieved in a single self-contained file is still pretty remarkable. They even compared it to the output of another advanced model, DeepSeek v3. Not to say one was better than the other, but just to give you an idea of the kind of sophisticated visual generation we're seeing now.
Wow, that gives you a glimpse of its creative potential. And then there was that math problem, the one with the complex integral. That sounded pretty intense.
It was. The model was given this complex integral to solve, along with some hints and even an extra challenge thrown in. And what was really impressive, and this helps us understand its reasoning process, was how it provided a step-by-step breakdown of its solution using LaTeX, that standard mathematical notation, to clearly present each stage of its thought process.
It showed its work.
Exactly. It not only got the right answer, but it also tackled that extra layer of complexity. It really demonstrates how it can handle those tricky math problems and explain its logic in a way that's clear and structured.
It's like having a super smart and patient math tutor available 24/7.
Yeah.
But the example that really showed its understanding of human interaction was the one set in the Japanese restaurant. Can you walk us through that one?
Okay, so this one was all about how the model goes beyond just the literal words being spoken. It involved a customer who speaks Spanish going into a Japanese restaurant in the US. And the prompt was, how should the waiter who understands some Spanish respond, taking into account not just the language, but the cultural context?
So a lot of layers to consider.
Exactly. And what was interesting is that the model didn't just offer a direct translation into Spanish. It gave the waiter several options, carefully considering different levels of formality, and even suggesting that the waiter acknowledge their own limited Spanish. It highlighted the importance of being respectful of both languages and cultures. And then it went a step further by recommending an approach that aimed to make the customer feel truly comfortable and understood. It was a really sophisticated grasp of social dynamics.
That's way beyond just basic translation.
Yeah.
It's showing real awareness of context and human interaction.
Right.
And to really test its language skills, they also had it translate a pretty complex sentence into the top 25 languages spoken globally, right?
Right. The sentence was, complex integrals reveal elegant symmetries hidden within mathematical structures. Not exactly something you'd hear in everyday conversation.
Not exactly light reading.
No, not at all. It involves abstract concepts, specialized vocabulary. But the model not only accurately identified those top 25 languages, but also provided translations, many of which use different writing systems like Gurmukhi for Punjabi. And according to Google's own evaluation, using Google Translate as a benchmark, the accuracy of those translations was very high.
That's impressive. It really paints a picture of a model that can not only understand and communicate in multiple languages, but also appreciate the nuances and complexities of different cultures. Now, for our listeners who might be thinking, this is amazing, how can I try it out? What's the accessibility like?
Well, the good news is you can actually get your hands on Gemini 2.5 Pro right now. It's available through Google AI Studio. The website is studio.google.com. It's currently in an experimental phase, and you can use it for free. Just sign in with your Google account.
That's great. So anyone who's curious can just head over there and start experimenting.
Yeah. Although it's worth noting that since it's experimental and free, there might be some limits on how much you can input and output. Google might have some usage controls in place, but it's a fantastic opportunity to experience its capabilities firsthand. And looking ahead, Google is planning to integrate Gemini 2.5 Pro into their Vertex AI platform on Google Cloud. So developers will be able to incorporate it into their own applications. And eventually we'll probably see some of its features in the regular Gemini app, although some of those more advanced research capabilities might not be available right away.
So it's becoming more and more accessible for both individual users and developers. Now let's zoom out a bit. Where does Gemini 2.5 Pro fit into the current AI landscape? What's the competition like?
This release feels like a direct response to the advancements we've seen from other major players like OpenAI with their rumored GPT-4.5 and Anthropic with Claude 3. The AI world is incredibly competitive right now. We just saw DeepSeek release their updated V3 model, and there's talk that OpenAI might be about to drop their next big thing, possibly GPT-5.
It's a real AI arms race. And it seems like Google is not content with just keeping up. They're aiming to reclaim their position as the leader.
Yeah, for a while there was this narrative that maybe Google was losing its edge in AI, but with Gemini 2.5 Pro, they're making a statement. They're still a major force in AI research and development, and they're capable of delivering cutting-edge products.
Now, for those of you who are newer to the finer points of AI, we've mentioned these reasoning models a few times. Can you explain what makes Gemini 2.5 Pro such a step forward in its ability to reason?
Sure. At its core, a reasoning model is designed to do more than just recognize patterns. It analyzes information, draws logical conclusions, takes context and nuance into account, and makes informed decisions before giving an answer. Gemini 2.5 Pro is achieving a new level of performance because of a combination of factors, a much more advanced underlying model, and improved post-training techniques. Essentially, it's about making the AI think more effectively, more logically, so it can handle more complex and subtle problems.
So it's not just about having access to more information. It's about having a more sophisticated brain that can process it in a meaningful way.
Exactly.
This has been a really insightful look at Gemini 2.5 Pro. Let's recap the key takeaways for our listeners.
Okay, so Gemini 2.5 Pro, it's Google's newest, most intelligent AI model, and it's making waves. It's hitting the top of leaderboards, outperforming its competitors in a bunch of important benchmarks. It's showing off some incredible capabilities in logical reasoning, coding, understanding multiple languages, and it has that massive 1 million token context window.
So the big takeaway is that Google has released this incredibly powerful and surprisingly accessible AI model. And it's currently leading the pack in a lot of crucial areas. It's a clear sign that the AI landscape is constantly shifting and evolving at an incredible pace.
For sure. And this brings us to our final thought for you. If you think about how these rapid advancements in AI, especially the enhanced reasoning and multimodal understanding we're seeing, and models like Gemini 2.5 Pro, might eventually impact different parts of your life or the industries you're interested in. What new possibilities might they unlock? What new ways of working and interacting might emerge? It's definitely worth pondering as this field continues to evolve at such a rapid pace.
And if you're interested in diving deeper into the potential of AI for your own projects or your business, and you're looking for some personalized guidance, whether it's one-on-one training or consultancy, you can reach out to the experts at https://www.sokogenie.com. They offer tailored support to help you navigate this exciting and rapidly changing world of technology. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Gemini 2.5 Pro.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.